Hello and welcome back to Rotten Rust Garage. Today got a couple things to knock out on the Charger and gotta get after it. The old transmission's got to come out of here, small block transmission. Gonna start pulling off some interior panels so I can start detailing those, getting them soaked down with leather conditioner, get some of the back seat out, that kind of thing, so that I can start saving on that pleather and maybe make it last for a little while, so that when the first butt hits it, it doesn't split wide open. So messing around with that. I'm going to try and get the window crank on the driver's door going and start prepping in the engine bay, cleaning up. I'll get as much of that done today as I can before I run out of time, and let's see what happens. All right, so as you can see, a couple of things still in here that might jump out at you. Small block transmission. That's got to come out. All right, yeah, definitely. So some linkages. Got to get the car up in the air and get all that disconnected. These transmission lines got narfed in the removal of the radiator back in the day. No big deal. I'll get either make some or get some more. Either way, pre-bent. Probably like stainless or something that'll last. Clearly need to get this header out of here, and if you know let me see if I can really get you down in there. You'll see that, you know, on this B-body Mopar, the header is going around the steering linkage, so the pitman arm, steering linkage, crossbar there, and then of course the tie rod ends out to the end. So I gotta disconnect that from the pitman arm and from the steering knuckle, get the tie rod ends off and slide this thing out of here. And you know, with it up in the air, that's going to be a lot easier to do. I think I'm going to actually have to take off both sides so I can get that thing really bent out of the way, in order, because the headers aren't going to go out that way any further. So anyhow, that's going to probably take up quite a bit of my weekend. You know, tranny removal, the header cleaning, and that's probably going to do it. Gonna mess around a little bit with some of the interior. Really want to work at getting the leather upholstery sprayed down as much as possible so that I can start to get that leather supple again, so that I don't go through it with a big split as soon as I put a knee or a butt on it. So that's this weekend. Let's see what we can do. All right, just doing some messing around. I want to get this panel off of here because it's rattling around on me, and it's kind of annoying. I don't want to damage it anymore. I got to get this piece off. I grabbed the world's smallest needle nose. That was helpful. It looks like the whole thing's just spinning around on me. Maybe. Yep. All right, get something else. All right, this thing is stuck in there good, so I'm gonna give it a little juice. See if that'll free it up a little bit. I don't have the right tool for this. It, you know, like an antenna bezel, but this one just doesn't close down enough. Too big. And needle nose, yeah. These are, the tips of them are too big for these little tiny slots. So let me get a different pair of needle nose. But if I spin on it, it just spins the whole assembly. I think it'll come in. There we go. You can see the back side just spins completely, although I don't think it's supposed to. No. Come on. Well, let that soak for a second. Hey, can I get the... I sure can. Get the back side of these threads. Come on, a little bit left. Give me just a little bit. Come on. This thing is shot. There we go. All right. Yeah, I want to get this panel off so that I can lubricate the window mechanism, because once you get it go, it is very hard to move the window down. And once you get it to the bottom, man, it does not want to start going again. And I don't want to strip out the gearing in there, the teeth. So take this off and, you know, see what I can figure out. Be a good time to also have this panel off and clean it real good, get the mildew off of it. probably be best to have it off the car anyway if once the welding starts on the floor. So let me see if I can get this thing off of here. All right, maybe this will get it. I don't know. My eyes are not good enough to see the little slots. Just spin a little bit even. Maybe. Hey, good thing I lubricated it. Now I can't grip it with my fingers. It's starting to come. It's gonna take a minute. Kind of cool that it had the option of a remote sport mirror. Oh, there we go. Bezel's off. Now I can pull this through, and finally, this thing comes free. And I don't know if this little plate is supposed to be what, I know obviously it's what holds this in line, but I don't know if it was ever like supposed to be attached to the back of this panel. Doesn't look like it. Looks like it just sat back there and you spun this on. That'll be that. There's a screw somebody put in. Gotta get that out of there. But the panel's in good shape though, shockingly. Again, somebody took care of this car. So that's cool. Wow, pretty neat. Let's see. This actually works. See the mirror moving around. That's cool. So that's nifty. And there's original black paint. Somebody, I guess, inspector, whatever that says. Cool. Tape. There's a big screw hole somebody put in there with a giant flathead screw right through the panel to hold in place, because it looks like all the clips are missing from the panel. One goes there, one goes there, one goes there, and one goes there for boom, 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 boom. And one at the very front right there that I missed. So those are missing in action. But I'm pretty sure those are pretty easy to acquire if I don't already have some in the garage. So anyway, that's off of there. Now for the rest of the panel. Be a Phillips screw up there somewhere. Oh, you know, something probably back here. What is that? All right. I'm gonna yank that all the way out. This one might be harder to get. What is that? Also Phillips, but it looks like it's been mangled. Oh boy, not good. Somebody's rounded that one out. I'm not the first person here, obviously. Rat farts. Well, before I unscrew these two, I want to get that one off of there. It's on there tight. All right. Bigger screwdriver, a little bit of juice on the back of the screw, pop, comes right free. There we go. Yeah. A little messed up, but still good. Cool. Clean this thing up. The chrome's a little rough, shall we say. All right, get these guys off of here. Where was I? Fishing for the slot. There. Maybe. Nope. All right. Wow, plastic. Chrome on the outside is gone, you know. Nice and shiny chrome on the back. All right. That's okay. Whole thing is still here and not broken. That's good. And now, see if anybody slid any hidden screws in this panel. Okay, time to pop these off without destroying the cardboard backing. Highly improbable. All right, well, I guess I'll start back here. Somewhere in here's a clip. Ooh. I've never worked on a B-body door. Good Lord, I don't know if there's clips all through this thing or what. Oh, yeah. Might be helpful to take him off before I, try and get the panel off. I'll be back. I get all excited, get out ahead of myself, just for a simple thing. All I want to do is lube up the window mechanism for the door. Huh? Joker's on there. There we go. It's a little stuck. These speaker covers, wouldn't you know it, somebody put them on there so that every time this went around, it, get your fingers or whatever. And I'm sure that's why they're missing. The other side has the speaker cover. And if you go to do the window, of course, you scag that. Back to the task at hand. Gentle. Gentle. More gentle. Oop. Oh boy. These clips are rusty. Oh, hey. That was the last of them. And this clip is different. Huh, that's weird. Let me bring you over here. So that's this typical clip you would expect to see, the little bent wire one all the way around it. Somebody was in here. Duct taped her all up. You probably saw that before I did. I was messing with the panel. Maybe the factory tape behind it. Shocking that the plastic's still in here. Wow. But anyway, here's that other different fastener. It's just like more of a button style. Huh. But the cardboard's in pretty bad shape. Somebody's signature. DF. DB. Don't know. All right. Let's set that over there for now. And I need to get into this crank. See what's going on. There's your teeth. See if I can figure out some lubricant points. Might be in the window channel itself. Could be the actual where the little wheels go in the bottom of the window. Roll her down a little tiny bit and see. Oh boy, that's tight. I don't want to go too far down. What can we feel in here that I can lubricate? Yeah. Should be some grease right there. There is some ancient. Oh, it's dried out. Well, I don't know. I'll keep messing with it until I can get this thing rolling up and down smoothly. Right now, once you get to the very bottom, it doesn't want to turn back around and start going up. Very, very hard to do. We'll get it. All right, got the back seat out, and that way I can start cleaning on it and soaking it with leather cleaner and conditioner because it is brittle, and the first butt that hits it's going to split it all open. So it can be saved, and that's what I'm trying to do because it's pretty much really in good condition. But yeah, not a whole lot to see in here. some mice have been up in here. Get that cleaned out. Definitely some mice turds and some acorns and whatnot. Hopefully they are not in here. Got to get the upper portion of the back seat out. But the good news is there's no rust, just some mouse droppings, and definitely some of the whatever, like that insulation foam stuff. So yeah, these panels are gonna have to come out. There's probably mice inside of there. Lubricate all the mechanisms. Same thing on this side. Clean up the panels. This is all just slow roll work though, so we'll get through it. All right, let's see if I can get this upper portion of this back seat out. It's got tabs back here. Need to be bent out of the way. Hopefully I can get it out with these armrests in place, but something tells me I won't be able to. Yeah, looking at it, I think I'm gonna have to pull at least one of them out. Well, I want to get the rest of the mouse nest out from behind it. So let me bend this one over. Should just have to go up. All right, it's free, and as I expected, it's gonna hit the armrests. Well, that came out easy enough. It's pretty shocking how easy these screws are coming out. So now I can pull this thing out of here if I get out of the way. Oh yeah, little mouse nest. There we go. All right, come here, y'all. So now you can see there's what's left of the mouse nest, and this is a little tab that holds the bottom, and the 72 that I have, it's a screw at the bottom. And there's the trunk. We'll dive into that a little later. Oh, all right. Nope, that's not mouse chewed. It's just missing the little wrap. Yeah, I guess it's time to get the vacuum back in here. All right, and let me show you the seat out here. And you can see the little mouse nest. So I get the vacuum on that. Hopefully it's uninhabited. I don't need the mice in here. Good morning. Time to get started. Only got a couple hours today, so gonna jump right in, get this transmission out, and work on getting this header out from around the steering linkage. So that's all I can do is get started. So time to get it up in the air and get some jack stands under it and make it happen. All right, some jack stands. I gotta disconnect the shifter linkage from the console shifter at the transmission, speedo cable, what is it called, the neutral safety switch, and I gotta get back to the drive shaft whip under there and get that unbolted from the rear end, and then I can start lowering it down, take all these straps that's holding it up. Let's get started. And I gotta start breaking these bolts free. Hopefully they will. That's good. Wow. These have not seen grease in years, eons. Oh yeah, that thing is trash. All right, cool. Oh, I'm gonna make a bloodbath back here. Let me get a pan. Okay. Yep. There we go. Man, that seal was doing its job. It was pretty nice. Let this drain for a minute and get the jack underneath of it. Don't try this at home, kids. It ain't worth it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, gotta get around to the other side. Whole cross member has to come down. Transmission support. So the linkage is disconnected now. And it's sketch. Very sketchy. Sitting on a jack, it's definitely going to fall as soon as I get everything loose and try to start lowering it down. Be nice to have a lift. All right, this is where it's gonna get spicy. If you haven't noticed, the cross member's wider than these pipes, but I think I can bend them enough out of the way. They're good pipes still. Seem like they're in good shape. I'll have to take them out of here at some point though, because they're not gonna fit the big block headers. I'll have to redo them. Now it's on one bolt. I can probably get that one free as well. And then it's off to the races. Oh, I'm gonna make a mess. Super sketchy. Gonna try and lower it down. I know it's gonna fall. We'll see. I gotta get it off the jack anyway. No way. It's supposed to fall at this point. Huh. That's kind of crazy. I must have found the center. I just got to drag the jack out from under it. Like a glove. Not really. Let's see. So what are the issues here? There's a transmission cooler lines. That's not a big deal. I can snip those. And then the dipstick tube. And so the car's got to go up, definitely. Come here, you. Come on. All right, so before I start banging away on that pitman arm down there to free the old crappy header that I really should just get a Sawzall and cut away, I figured I'd take just a quick minute now that the little tiny transmission's out of the way and kind of give you an underside view of the car. It was obviously undercoated, man. Huge deal. One of the things I thought was kind of interesting while I was playing around under here is if you look, the undercoating was underneath where the transmission cross member was. So that, you got me. Did they undercoat this at the factory before the transmission went in? I wouldn't think that. That doesn't make any sense, but looks like somebody smeared a finger across it right there too. It definitely looks like a finger smear. But anyhow, there is some rust under here. It's all just surface. There's nothing like through anywhere. It's pretty, much as expected. Gets a little worse as you get further back in the car. The mufflers and exhaust are pretty decent shape. Might try and reuse them. I don't know. Doubtful. The brake lines and the fuel line look good. Of course, that's all going to be tested. I may just preemptively replace all the brake lines because it's probably worth it. But yep. And as typical, there's crap up inside of the frame passages, so I'll get all that cleaned out with the air gun and the vacuum and stuff like that. But anyway, I thought you might be interested. So the floor that's rusted inside of the car obviously came from inside. It rusted down, not up, which is usually the case with a floor pan, leaks from wherever. I found a couple of leaks here. One under the engine here. Obviously somebody sliced away right there on that plastic cover to get access. That's not probably the primary leak though. Where I would say is probably something like this. If you're driving in the rain, it's hard to see with the camera. I'll take the camera off, but right here, there's daylight back in there, right? Took the flashlight off it. You can see the daylight right through there. That's the e-brake grommet, and it's just separated from the car, So all the road water is just going to go right up in there. But, undercoated real nice up under here. All that factory, flap seals, the rubberized kind of stuff is still there. Missing some pieces up here. You can see the screw holes right along the bottom edge. And then there would have been, I think that would have been like some kind of metal piece just to protect the road grime from going up there on the fog lights. More orange paint. That piece is still up there at the front, but it's got a little surface rust. Otherwise, looks really good. I did find on the bottom of both sides of the fender, there's a little bump of Bondo on the back side at the same exact spot, which kind of maybe says to me, hey, possibly there was a side trim piece along the bottom, like a rocker molding of some sort, that is obviously deleted. Hard to say. This would have had the wheel lip moldings as well, and I can see all the screw holes that wouldn't have been there otherwise. Same thing on the back. So somebody deleted on that trim probably when the paint went on. Who really knows? Hard to tell with a car like this. All right, now to start banging away on this this thing. Yep. It's up under there. This is gonna not be fun. All right, let's get some cotter pins off of here. All right, there's one. How about a dishy one? Maybe I'll get really lucky and they'll pop right off of there. Doubtful. Very doubtful. That came free too easy. No doubt. All right. Well, let's try it again with this one. All right, pickle fork. There she goes. That was super easy. Oh, that was easy. All right, note to self. Get a new grease boot. Well, you've heard me say this a couple times now. I'm no expert on this stuff, but I'm pretty sure that that is a 904 transmission, and it looks nothing like a 727. I kept calling it a 727. I assumed it was because it was behind a 340. And all you smart people out there, let me know. I'm pretty sure that's a 904, tiny little thing. Yeah. Huh. So like I mentioned, again, if you can see the two ears right here, that's missing. That holds this bracket right here, which the shifter post, fits in there, and it spins, and it's got a lever arm on it that shifts the gears and everything. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. Obviously this tranny has no provision for that. I did this 20 some odd years ago, and I don't remember having that issue. That was a floor shifted car as well. It was a E-body. It was a Challenger, 73 Challenger. Got a picture of it. I'll have to post up at some point. But anyway, yeah, so that's kind of interesting. Really, not a whole lot more I'm going to do today. I do want to say one other quick thing. Just thinking about it. Looking at all the bushings while I was under there hammering out that tie rod end to get the header out of there, and like the ball joints, solid. The bushings on the sway bar, solid. I don't think they've been replaced, but possibly. I mean, I went up and looked at the odometer, and it says 39,000 and change, 687, whatever, 39,000. And a lot of times when they're rolled over, that first number is kind of high. That one, on that instrument gauge, on that odometer, it's sitting kind of perfectly in the middle there. Is it possible this car only has 39,000 miles on it? It's more believable that it's 139. But there's other things that don't really jive with that. like all the perfect bushings. Yeah, it's crazy. So I don't really know. So that's a possibility. Anyhow, that's about it for today. Might do a little bit of cleanup and then maybe a little more filming. I don't know, but I'm running out of time for the day, and so I'll get back after it tomorrow. Okay, so I jumped back in and I looked at the codes off the data tag, and it has a D31 code that confirms the 904 transmission. Don't know why I thought that it was a 727 all these years. I guess I just assumed, which I think there's a saying about that. Anyway, I assumed because it was behind a 340 that it was a 727. I think you could get a 727 behind a 318 back in the day when the car was ordered. So got a pretty cool book here that is probably a little more trustworthy than the decoder ring I was using the other day when I talked about, I think it was code B51. And I said, hey, that calls for power disc brakes. Not so fast. According to this book, B51 is just power brakes, not power disc, which would be correct with this car. It has power brake, got the booster, and it's drum. I guess it would be a, what do we see here? A B41 would give you disc brakes, and I do not have that B41 code. So anyhow, just thought you'd be interested. Okay, here is my solution for not having this piece on the transmission I'm going to use. This is a small block 727, but the tail piece should work just fine on the other one. So I think I'm going to try and swap them out. And so that way I have the ears under there that the bolts go in to hold this floor shifter mechanism. You know, that's the only thing I can think to do. This is just a spare that's been sitting around for years. It hasn't been designated for anything. I'll put the tail shaft housing that's missing this, you know, bosses for bolts. I'll put that one back on this one. But first I'm gonna have to drain it out. Don't have time for that today, but I'll get to that next weekend. Drain it out, stand it up, pull it all apart, and swap. Put the gasket on. Done. Okay, a couple of things in here. This is an old patch panel I bought many years ago. I don't even remember where I got it from. But it's not going to quite do the trick. Although the metal up here is pretty good. Over here in this corner, it's not, you know, it doesn't cover that. So we got light coming through there. Where we go? There we go. Yeah, you can see it a little bit better. That's no bueno. But I do have an entire half floor that at some point I can cut from about this section over to the trans tunnel and take it all the way up to this flange where the firewall would meet it. And once the engine comes back out for a complete and total rebuild, I can pinch weld all that up there, and that'll cover this area here, bring it all the way over to this. So the interim, I'm just gonna leave this in here. It'll be plenty enough so my foot doesn't go through the floor. Not even gonna, I might send a screw through it. Just temporary though, keep that in mind. Very, very temporary, because I have the better panel than this. This is fine if it was just rotted right through here, but that's not the case. There's a lot more rot, obviously. So just wanted to show you that. And also that this brake pedal is locked solid. It moves a tiny bit, but it is locked up solid. Obviously the brakes are complete junk. Four-wheel drum, sure all the soft lines have swollen shut. Have no idea about the booster, what kind of condition that's in. Probably just gonna go ahead and replace on all of that stuff. Brake lines, booster, master cylinder, upgrade to disc brakes in front, put a adjustable proportioning valve in it, etc. You know, make some improvements. I'll keep all the original stuff that is worth keeping, like the front drum brakes. Not that anybody would ever put them back on, but they're worth keeping. Same thing with the original booster. Keep that. That might be able to be repaired. Pretty rusty up here on the mechanism for the little linkages. So the kit I'm going to buy from Inline Tube comes with the booster and all that rusted out linkage up there. I'm just going to have to get that little spring off of there. I don't know what a task that'll be with the dash in. Probably have to take the steering column out. Save that for another day. Maybe next weekend. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. I didn't get as much done as I wanted to. Of course, the weekends always fly by. and limited amount of time, which is unfortunate. But I got to say that something like this, a project of this scope, can really get you squirreled off on things really quickly. You just walk by like, oh, look at that, and you want to start messing with things where I got to try and keep a focus on, I just want to get the engine bay cleaned, get it, presentable, go ahead and put the motor in. In the process of putting the motor in, I figure out all the different things that I need to actually get it running. I'm going to need a good radiator. I need to get, the simple stuff, transmission cooler lines, big thing, drive shaft, right? I need to start looking at the pinion size under the rear axle. I think it's pretty small. I might want to go to the big pinion rear end. I could save on that for another time. But if you're getting a drive shaft made, you probably want to start thinking about those kind of things. But it's real easy to go down that slippery slope of doing all the upgrades. The brakes, definitely no point in the thing running if I can't stop it. I want to get the brakes done while I've got everything stripped out. Makes it a little easier to access the firewall, etc. So I'm just going to keep motoring with those things that get me towards that goal. So if it looks like I'm cutting corners, I am. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to come back to it once maybe next winter, bring the car back in, engine out, engine off to a machine shop for, to be hot tanked, measured, any kind of, if it needs to be bored out, etc. And that's when I'll start looking at the cost of that, all the different upgrades, probably aluminum heads, intake, cam, balance all those things out with what my end goal is for the car. And move in that direction. And when the engine's out and being taken care of and I'm rebuilding that, then I can focus on other things like cutting out this floor panel, addressing the trunk, all that stuff. If I can just get it running in the meantime and be able to pull it in and out of the garage, it'll be really nice. I can start messing with other little details, the simple stuff, and just keep moving forward, making progress. It is a big project. I've got quite the list going already. It's going to hurt the wallet, but it's got to get done. This car has got to get back on the road. So hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you next weekend. Thanks for watching.